capital Pyongyang as part of an elaborate funeral procession. There was widespread public mourning with scenes of civilians and the military wailing aloud. The North Koreans, as we hear in this CFI report, are attributing the unprecedented snowfall during the funeral of their dear leader to some spiritual significance.
In the giant mausoleum where his body will be displayed. Tens of thousands of North Koreans, both civilians and military, came to say goodbye to their dear commander with public wailing sessions. The snow is endlessly falling like tears. How could the sky not cry when we have lost our general?
As I see the snowfalls, I shed more tears, thinking about our general's hard work.
Walking next to the limousine was Kim Jong-un, his son and the country's new leader. The 28-year-old has a tough mission ahead of him, taking over a ravaged economy that is dependent on international aid. He must also learn to deal with an extremely powerful army. The new supreme leader of the party, the state, and the army will officially take office on Thursday. It remains to be seen if the third son of the Kim dynasty will follow the hardline politics of his father, or if he will take softer positions regarding his neighbor South Korea and the Asian region.
The party of the veteran opposition figure in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Etienne Tshisekedi, has questioned the essence of the presence of the United Nations mission in the country and urged the chief of the UN mission there to leave the Congo. The rift between the opposition and the ruling party over the results of the controversial presidential poll is still alive. Tshisekedi's supporters are meanwhile denouncing his confinement to his house by the security forces. Let's look at this CFI report for more.
Battle in Democratic Republic of Congo between veteran opposition politician Etienne Tshisekedi, who claims he won the presidential elections, and incumbent President Joseph Kabila, who was declared the winner, is the talk of the town. Tshisekedi's party, the UDPS, is denouncing the fact that its leader remains encircled inside his house.
Since this morning, we have been prevented from gaining access to the street that Mr. Tshisekedi lives on. We are all worried about his security.
Police sent to protect him have been withdrawn. The UDPS is demanding that Roger Meese, the head of the United Nations mission in DR Congo, leave the country. The opposition party says the force of 17,000 is not doing its job.
This is too much. What are we going to do with this force here in Congo, which is not protecting anyone and has become a mission of complacency?
The UN mission refused to comment for fear of worsening an already tense political situation, which could decline further when the results of the legislative elections are announced in a couple of weeks.
Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan is seeking to convince Northerners that the recent upsurge of violence in his country is not about religion, but a battle between good and evil. And the trial of Egypt's bed-ridden former President Hosni Mubarak has resumed after a 3-month lull. But these and other stories we go with this CFI report.
Is trying to preserve peaceful relations between Christians and Muslims following Christmas's deadly attacks. On Tuesday, President Goodluck Jonathan met with Nigerian Muslim representatives. They say that the conflict is not between Islam and Christianism, but between evil people and good people. The attacks carried out by the Islamic sect Boko Haram killed at least 35 people at the weekend. On Wednesday, a homemade bomb was thrown into an Arabic school in the south of the country, injuring 3 people. In Cairo, Hosni Mubarak's trial has resumed 3 months after it was halted because of the way proceedings were carried out. The former Egyptian premier arrived by ambulance. The 83-year-old is currently detained in a military hospital. No images of the courtroom have been released as the case is taking place behind closed doors. Gathered outside were pro- and anti-Mubaraks. And to avoid clashes, thousands of policemen. Today's trial was short as it was adjourned until next Monday. Egypt has ordered the end of virginity tests, a victory for women's rights groups who gathered in front of the courtroom. The military often forced women to take a virginity test when they were arrested for demonstrating. One of the last known victims was pro-democracy activist Samira Ibrahim, who took the case to court. In May, a member of the army explained that the tests were used to avoid soldiers being accused of raping female detainees. The United Nations has expressed concern over South Sudan and Jonglei State in particular, where tensions are high between various tribes. On Tuesday, the UN called for South Sudan's government to do all it could to protect civilians. The UN is getting ready to do the same.
The United Nations mission here, UNMISS, we are reinforcing our presence of peacekeepers on the ground. We are increasing the number of air patrols that we are conducting in Jonglei State so that we can deter some of this potential violence.
We now take a second break. Stay tuned.
Is a key success factor. Zenith Bank, the biggest bank in West Africa, is expanding in the Gambia. Priding itself on excellent customer service delivery, Zenith Bank Gambia opens a new branch on number 9 Nelson Mandela Street in Banjul. For all your banking services and transactions for sending and receiving money through Western Union, Money Express and RIA, at Zenith Bank, we put people, technology and service first. Zenith Bank, always in your best interest.
Welcome back. It's now time for the weather report from the Central Forecast Office.
The Gambia is endowed with a wonderful landscape full of baobab trees. Like its Cape Point in Bakau, it is one of the most exotic sceneries in the world. The baobab tree is a symbol of resilience, wisdom, and resourcefulness. For the baobab tree provides good food in times of hunger, rents its bark for medications, and its sap for glue. In the Gambia, there is a company like the baobab tree, 100% African and purely Gambian in all aspects. In know-how, design, value, capital, and management. That company is Elton. Elton, employing hundreds of Gambians and proudly associating itself with development in the Gambia. Elton, side by side with the Gambia.
It's a warm welcome to the weather segment, and from the Central Forecast Office, I am Hadi Choi presenting. The day today was mainly dry and cool in the early hours of the morning and warm and sunny in the afternoon. To know what prevailed over the rest of the continent, we propose a look at the image captured at 16:30 hours, indicating the presence of convective clouds over part of South Africa and part of the central continent. Elsewhere indicated clear skies and stable conditions over the period. For the forecast tonight, we'll be expecting cool, dry and breezy atmosphere over the coastal areas, becoming cooler over inlands. The day tomorrow will be partly cloudy and warm, especially over the inland areas. Light to moderate northeasterlies will continue to flow across the country. And for the minimum temperatures, we'll be expecting 18 degrees Celsius over Banjul, 16 over Yundum, 13 over Kerewan, 14 degrees Celsius over Sibano, Jinoy and Kawur as well, while Sapo and Jinyambure will record 13 degrees Celsius, Basse 12 degrees Celsius and Fatoto 10 degrees Celsius. For the maximum temperatures, we'll be expecting 31 degrees Celsius over Banjul,